This is the plaintiff, Antoinette Rogers. She says she hired the defendant to direct and edit a public service announcement for schools about the dangers of drugs and overdosing. The inept defendant delivered an over-budget, horribly lit, badly shot, subpar, and unprofessional video. And she's here suing him for the return of the $1,800 she paid him. This is the defendant, Edward Payson. He says he did the work he was hired to do and was paid for it. The plaintiff even gave him the thumbs up about posting the video for online distribution. The crazy lady's now slandering his good name. That's not fair, and he's not returning a penny to her. He's accused of flubbing film.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff hired the defendant to direct a PSA on the dangers of drugs for students and says that the film was awful, but the defendant says that she gave him a big thumbs up. It is the case of, were you hired something?
Thank you, Douglas. Antoinette Rogers, doing business as Net Worth Productions. You are suing Edward Payson, doing business as an anti-hero production, for $1,800 that you want returned to you because you feel that the job he did was not up to snuff. Tell me what's going on.
So I hired the defendant to direct and edit a short film PSA for me, and I was producing
public service announcement.
Public service announcement. It basically was about underage drinking, the dangers associated with peer pressure, binge drinking, and bullying. It was intended to reach out to college students, high school students, just for awareness.
Okay, and what possessed you to do that?
It's just something that I wanted to do. I originally wrote this piece for film school, and I did it a few years ago as a one-act stage play. So I just decided, since I crossed over into production, to film it, do it as a film.
And what did you want? Was it your intent to be able to sell it to schools, or to, like, what was was there a business plan behind it?
Yes, exactly. I wanted to market it and sell it to colleges and high schools.
Okay, so go ahead.
So I hired Edward. He was supposed to direct and edit originally, but then I became ill. So I wanted to cancel the entire production. It was just too much stress associated with it. So Edward agreed to do the production part of it for me, so that all I have to do is show up and do my part. I was an actress too.
Yes, I recognized you. You played the mother, right? Did you play the mother?
Yes, I did. I played the mother.
Yeah, I saw the film. All right, so go ahead.
So Edward agreed to do the producing for me, so that all I have to do is show up. So I gave him an additional $1,000 to, take care of the production. And actually, I gave him another $300 so that I could be sure the actors were paid a small stipend for mileage and food. And basically...
so why are we here?
Well, we're here because I don't know what he did with my money. The $1,000, he can't account for any of it. He gave me a bogus invoice with all sorts of charges that I didn't authorize. And in addition, he marketed and edited the video on social media. I did not give him permission to do that. That's not what I wanted to do with the film. So I don't know why he did that and why he's billing me for it.
Okay. What's going on?
So I was hired to, like she said, first to direct and edit the film. And 2 days before the original shoot date, she had told me that she had fell ill and was going to cancel the project altogether. So basically we came to an agreement where I would then produce the project. And it was, to my understanding, as well as the contract understanding that she signed, that that money was going to me. It was not a budget.
Can I see it?
Yes.
And that you with it are supposed to do what? Produce the whole thing?
Just produce the project. Basically, make sure the project happens.
So basically, the film is about the social pressures of some college students, where other college students are trying to push them to, what's it called? Popular Pete?
Popular Pete,
Okay.
yes.
And it's about him, I guess, standing up to the pressure, or how you stand up to the pressure of other people trying to get you to do drugs and alcohol when you're in college and 18 and 19 or whatever, 20. 20 3/4.
Yes.
You can pick my president. You can fight my wars, but don't you dare touch a beer. Instead, let's make sure you binge drink hard alcohol instead of the way college students used to be, where they'd have a few innocuous beers.
Right.
But don't get me started. So, when do you first hear that she's not happy with the product?
I don't hear this until after she already says that I owe her $1,300, and then that switched to $1,800.
Wait, how did you owe her $1,300? Why did she say you owed it to her?
She said I owed her $1,300 because I didn't have receipts for the $1,300, whereas the $1,300, only $300 of that was given to me to be paid for the actors as gas stipends, the actors that weren't professional actors that were doing this for their reels and stuff to get out there.
All right, and the other $1,000 is your understanding goes straight to you for producing it, and that you don't have to explain to her what you spent it on, because what you spent it on was you. That was your take.
Basically, she asked me on the 27th for receipts, and I was more than happy to do that. And I said, okay, I don't have receipts, but I have invoices, because basically everybody has to give me an invoice as far as actors-wise. They're not going to give me like a receipt. So before I could send that, in the morning I was given a, like really early in the morning, like 5 a.m., I got a email that was supposed to go to her lawyer, but went to me instead. And
Oops.
And basically said...
I sent it. Go ahead.
But basically said that she was going to send a demand letter for all the money that wasn't accounted for. So.
Okay, so why? So you know, do you guys want to appear in court? No, right? So at some point, you have now a whole little binder full of stuff. Why didn't you just give it to her so she would back off?
Because before I even responded to that email, she sent another email threatening to send people to my house in the middle of the night.
Can I see that email about sending people to your house in the middle of the night? So tell me why, if you have a contract with him that basically says, here's a budget, go nuts, direct, produce, do everything, I'm sick, then why is it that you get to say, well, I don't like what you did, give me all my money back?
Well, he did things...
Because you delegated the whole thing to him, basically, other than you showing up and playing the mom.
Well, yeah, but I didn't tell him to do post-production for me. I'm the distributor. He was going to help me with that.
What did you do? You put it on your social media?
I asked her beforehand, I said,
Can you prove that?
Yes, I do. I have emails for that as well.
No, I want to see that right now, because that's a big part of what she's upset about, because she intends to sell it. How is she going to sell it if you hand it for free on your social media? It wasn't. She didn't do this for the altruistic. I mean, I'm sure that's in it too, but it wasn't her business. She had a business plan for this, not just, oh, don't do drugs. She had a business plan for this. She wants to be able to market it. Do you mind if I post the short for people to watch? Certainly, you can post it.
I gave him permission to post it like on his Facebook page. I didn't give him permission to market it.
What makes you think he marketed it? Where did he post it?
He said he posted it, well, in his invoice. If you take a look at his invoice, he said he marketed to over 30,000 people on social media. I didn't give him permission to do that.
No, all I said was that I have 3,000 Facebook friends, and it was marketed to them. There was no, like, bot marketing.
Where did you post it?
Just on my Facebook page.
That's it?
That's it, yeah.
Okay.
Well, it was a YouTube link that was posted to my Facebook page, but the YouTube link was a one that you couldn't search or anything like that. It was protected.
Okay.
Well, if you look at his invoice, it says that he paid, how much, $400 to market on social media, Instagram?
Oh, show me his invoice. Show me where he was trying to justify his fees.
Okay. This is the invoice, and it's on here somewhere where he says that he marketed to...
Okay. Let me see. I'll find it.
Okay.
Now, what is this invoice? On March 28th, you send her an invoice amount due $3,315.05? What's that?
Yes. So basically, she sent me an email where she challenged, what did you do to deserve? She said, I paid you $1,300 to produce. What did you do to deserve this? So I was like, okay, here's all the stuff that you got, as well as all the stuff I put in for free that you're not being charged for, so that's what it would be. So things that are on there that I didn't charge her for, usually it's separate if you...
So what did you do? You sent her a bill for it?
No, it wasn't even a bill. It was just showing, like, this is what...
It's called an invoice.
Yeah.
It has a number, and it says amount due. What part of that is not a bill? And then what you do is, I guess you're insulted, so you start to you start to just pick figures out of the sky, basically. Because let's see where you charge poster work, 2 designs up to 1 revision each, $450. What's that?
That's 2 posters, 200 and whatever dollars each. That equals up to 4.
I don't know what you're saying. 2 posters that you what?
That I had made.
Okay, and somebody billed you $450 for posters?
Yeah, that's actually a very, very cheap price when it comes to posters.
No, I do my own posters. He's a graphic designer.
Okay,
This is my
so
partner.
where are those posters?
I have them here as well.
I never seen the posters. Never approved the
Did
posters.
you ever give her posters?
No.
I didn't because this was
Everything-
all this was still in the works after she threatened to send people to my house and stuff like that. And I
So
had a
let me
police
see your
report against
receipt
her.
for the posters.
Sure.
So I can see the date on it.
Sure.
Promoting film on Instagram to 15,900 followers and over 3,000 Facebook friends, $500. What Instagram? Do you have an Instagram of 15,900 followers?
Yes, I do.
Are they all real?
Yes.
So do these PSAs to scare people about drugs, these things work?
Sometimes, yeah, I feel like they do when they do like the little recording of the throat and they show tobacco usage.
Tobacco, yes, but I'm talking drugs. I mean, I remember when I was in school, you smoked a joint and you jumped off a cliff. I mean, seriously.
I mean, I know the ones for tobacco have helped a lot. They've raised a lot of awareness.
But what about drugs?
So I think that it's potential, like there's potential that it could help, but I think it's pretty unlikely that they'll do much.
Fair enough, going inside the courtroom.
Apparently, you felt the need to account for every penny when I think you had it right the first time when you first said, hey, I was given the money. I'm going to spend it as I see fit. I'm the producer, I'm the director, I'm doing everything now. She wasn't doing anything anymore.
Yes, I wasn't asking her for extra money to cover any of this. This is all me just trying to have the best
Why,
product put
though?
out.
If that's your job, you got hired and you got paid a job to take care of it all, then you took care of it all. And then, if anything, she's complaining about you taking too much care of it all.
I don't even want all that stuff.
Well, okay, you don't have to have it. And I see the permission you give him to put it on his own social media. So I'm not sure why we're here.
Well, I gave him permission to put it on his Facebook page.
That's
I
all he
didn't give
did.
him.
And the Instagram was whose Instagram?
My Instagram.
I didn't
How
give
do you
him
have
And it
permission.
wasn't the video. It wasn't the video either. It was just pictures. The same pictures she had posted on her Facebook, I posted to my Instagram the same day we
And
shot.
then the video is what you put on Facebook?
Yes.
How many people looked at it?
I think there was like 16 likes on the first one and like maybe 8 or 9 likes on the second one.
Okay.
One of the people to comment was someone who directed like Kevin Spacey, saying it was like a good movie and stuff like that. So.
Oh, good. Did you send that comment to her?
I mean, it was right there. She was tagged in the post, so if she looked at it,
Oh,
she
okay.
could have, yeah.
All right, but I just, here's the thing. You gave away so much license, and I see what you're talking in here about receipts and stuff like that, but one of the things you said in your complaint was, look, the way he shot it in this one, the eye level is too low, because the guy sits down on the couch, and then it's all, you should kind of probably edit that, but it's all wall on top, and but these are things that you could have worked out with him because it's really like 1 second where that happens. And so that could have been edited and perfected and whatever. But then everything kind of went to pot and it got kind of defensive. It's like, what did you do to deserve this? Where did my money go? I don't like how the film looks because, and then you name 6 things that are there. So they're really things that could have been cleaned up in editing that you should have, frankly. But then everything goes in the toilet. So right now you have the rights to it and you have what you have. From here on in, it's kind of your deal, and he doesn't get to do, you don't want him doing anything else that has to do with this. Right, so you're on notice right now. You got nothing else to do with this. Wash your hands and move on. And then the only question remaining is, can I look at this contract and say, hey, return money because you didn't do what the contract says? And I can't, because the contract is very non-specific. The contract just gives him, here's my budget, do this thing. And then he does the thing, but you don't like how he did it, and you don't have a right to say he breached the contract because I don't like how he did it. You kept no creative control on this thing. You gave him carte blanche to do it. He did it to the best of his ability, I guess, I
just also wanted to say that in that contract as well, she gave me final cut and final edit of the film.
Right.
Yeah.
It's all at his discretion. He doesn't have to nickel and dime. He's not an employee of yours anymore. He's really the guy who's deciding how the money will be spent, and he's the guy who doesn't have to justify how the money was spent because you gave him so much control. So I'm finding in this case in favor of the defendant. Good luck, folks.
So the plaintiff fails to prevail here in the People's Court. Ms. Rogers, let me ask you something. You never did explain, as far as I'm concerned, clearly what you didn't like about the film itself. Did you watch it, and did it do what you wanted it to?
Not really, no.
Why not?
Well, I didn't watch it because it was depressing to watch, and he can pretty much tell you.
I mean, were the actors bad? Was the story
No, the acting
good?
was
The
good.
writing
The
wasn't
story was
good?
good. The directing was not the greatest. You know, I just didn't feel that it was my vision. He wasn't able to bring my vision to life, and
What'd you think?
Yeah, I thought it was more like a intern type of a project. When she sent it to me, she wanted me to fix it, and I thought it couldn't be fixed.
Beyond repair. Huh?
Beyond
No
repair.
kidding. Okay.
Yeah, it had
Well,
amateur mistakes.
Maybe you've learned something from this whole
Most
experience.
definitely, yes.
It was your idea. Maybe you
That's
should have kept
right.
control.
Absolutely.
Too bad you bailed out in
That's
effect.
right.
You know? All right. Sorry
Oh,
about
well,
that.
thank you.
You're on the hook for it. Okay.
Thank
Sorry
you.
don't get your money back. All right. Here comes Mr. Payson, the defendant. Mr. Payson, how do you think the film worked out? You happy with it?
I'm happy with it until, you know, all this
Well,
started.
yeah, I know. But I mean the finished product.
I think so, yeah.
Bottom line.
Yeah, I mean, if there wasn't like a deadline or anything like that, I could definitely do like, you know.
It could be improved?
Yeah, yeah.
Think it
I
could be a
always,
lot better?
all my stuff I keep working on for like months and months, and to the point where someone else has to say, okay, you've done enough.
I mean, did she look at it and tell you, this is terrible, man, I hate it?
No, she actually said, this is great, it's funny, it's sad, I'd love to send it off to festivals and stuff, then all of a sudden, overnight,
Well,
it's changed.
interesting. All righty. Well, you're off the hook. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Harvey?
Okay, I mean, look, Doug, the key here is that she gave him complete creative control, and when you do that, you don't have a right to complain after the fact.